They say hospitals are places of healing, but sometimes they're where the forgotten are left to fade away. This is the story of a woman known only as Patient 103. She was admitted to a remote psychiatric hospital in northern Germany in the fall of 1954. The records state she was around 28 years old, mute and unresponsive. She had no identification, no belongings, and no next of kin. The only thing she had was a single photograph clutched tightly in her hand. A photo of a cottage, burned, half collapsed, with no markings or names. She never spoke, not once, not in 37 years. She was diagnosed with catatonic schizophrenia. The hospital labeled her as long-term care and moved her to the farthest wing of the building, Ward C. The nurses called it the dead wing because most of the patients there were either comatose or had long since lost the ability to respond. But something was off about Patient 103. Staff would complain of sudden chills in her room. Lights would flicker when they approached her. One nurse swore she saw the photograph in her hand change, from a burned house to a forest, then to a face staring back. She quit that night and never returned. Over the decades, new doctors came and went. Each time, they would try to reevaluate her. But the moment they entered her room, they'd forget what they were supposed to ask. One doctor described it as a mental fog that lifted only after leaving her presence. Another was found sitting beside her for hours, staring at nothing, unable to explain why. Then, in 1991, the hospital was shut down. Lack of funding, too many complaints, and a growing list of unexplained incidents. That's when things got strange. In the chaos of closure, no one filed a discharge for Patient 103. When the building was cleared, she was simply gone. No transfer records, no remains, no trace. The government listed her as presumed deceased, but the paperwork was unsigned. The doctor assigned to finalize it died of a sudden stroke before he could. Then came the rumors. Urban explorers who broke into the old hospital claimed to hear whispers in Ward C. Some found the old patient files scattered on the floor, all torn, except hers. The pages in her file were blank, but the photo was still there, now completely blackened. One group of explorers posted a video online. In it, you can hear faint breathing, and at the end, just before the video cuts out, a woman's voice whispers, "You left me here." The video was deleted within 24 hours. The users disappeared from social media a week later. No trace of them has ever been found. To this day, locals say the hospital is cursed, that anyone who steps into Ward C comes back different. Some say Patient 103 was never human. Others believe she was a forgotten soul trapped between dimensions, clinging to the last place anyone remembered her. But here's the most chilling part. In 2016, a nurse cleaning out an old storage room in a nearby mental health facility found a box. Inside was the same photograph, burned on the edges, still smudged with ash, and beneath it, a note written in shaky handwriting. "I remember you." No one ever claimed responsibility for placing it there, and the box has since gone missing. So the question remains, who was Patient 103? Was she a victim of a system that lost track of her? Or was she something else entirely? Something that never left? The hospital may be gone, but if you listen closely, some nights the wind still carries her name. The story is not over. For nearly 3 decades, the story of Patient 103 was buried, along with the crumbling remains of the psychiatric hospital where she vanished without a trace. But evil doesn't stay buried. In the spring of 2019, St. Maro Behavioral Institute opened its doors in northern Germany. A sleek, modern mental health facility built on the outskirts of a quiet forest town. What few knew, or bothered to check, was that the land used to belong to the same district as the now demolished asylum where patient 103 had disappeared. It didn't take long for things to go wrong. Nurses started complaining of hallway lights flickering only during night shifts. Patients spoke of a woman in white standing at their doorways, silent and still, just watching. At first, these stories were brushed off as stress, hallucinations, or sleep paralysis, until the security footage surfaced. At exactly 3:03 a.m. each night, cameras in Wing B recorded a woman walking down the main corridor. Her gown was stained, her feet bare, and her face always blurred. No matter the camera, angle, or enhancement, her face was never visible. Her movements were precise, identical every night, step by step. She would walk 14 steps, stop, turn left, then vanish at the door to room 13B, a storage closet that was always locked. The staff tried to dismiss it. Maybe a glitch in the recording system, they said. Maybe a prank. Until one of the nurses recognized something she'd seen before. A photograph. One of the interns had found it wedged behind a filing cabinet, burned on the edges, showing a broken-down house with a shattered window. It matched the photo last associated with patient 103, the one she clutched the day she was admitted. The administrator ordered a full review of the hospital's internal records. That's when they found it. A patient file, numbered 103, but there was no admission date, no diagnosis, no attending physician. Just one line typed into the file. She is still with us. The file had been created 3 days before the first camera sighting. A week later, construction staff working in the basement discovered something even more disturbing. A hidden trap door beneath a section of unfinished flooring. It wasn't in the building plans. When they pried it open, they found a narrow tunnel leading into the earth, a corridor lined with rusted pipes, old medical waste, and stained tiles that matched the design of the original asylum's Ward C. At the end of the tunnel was a single locked room. Inside it, a journal, a nurse's logbook dated 1961. Pages were brittle, torn by water damage, but several entries remained. One read, "She watches the staff now. We all feel it. I left her food yesterday, and when I came back, my name was etched into the wall behind her bed. I didn't write it. I swear to God I didn't." The last legible entry was simply, "If she ever leaves this place, we're all in danger." Soon after, one of the psychiatrists, Dr. Helena Voss, began behaving erratically. She stopped showing up for staff meetings, became obsessed with surveillance footage. Her co-workers found her mumbling in her office, staring at a static-filled screen. When they finally forced the door open, she was gone. The only thing left behind was a message on her computer. "I remember now. I was her." Authorities launched an investigation, but nothing came of it. No foul play, no trace of Dr. Voss. Her family said she'd never had mental issues, no history of delusions. And yet, her disappearance mirrored patient 103's case in unsettling ways. But it gets worse. Just 2 months ago, another psychiatric hospital in the Netherlands reported similar anomalies. Temperature drops, whispered voices, security glitches. A patient file with no record of admission, numbered 103. Same number, same silence, same presence. Patient 103 is no longer a ghost tied to a crumbling building. She's something far worse, something that's moving, growing, spreading. She was never discharged because she was never meant to be contained. And now, she's not just in one hospital. She's in all of them. So the next time you pass a hospital at night, ask yourself, is everyone inside really alive? If this story gave you chills, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true horror from the darkest corners of the world. Got the courage to keep watching? Hit that bell icon, because the next story might be knocking on your door.